Hi crafty friends! I'm coming on a little bit late today for Friday Fun Day, but at least I made it. There were some other videos happening that I didn't kind of want to overlap, so I waited a bit. Plus I was trying to get my project designed, and I finally managed to do that. So I want to show you the stamp sets and things that I'm going to be using today. First, this bushel and a peck. This is in our new mini catalog that is good through, I believe, the end of June. And so this is so cute. What my favorite things are, well, I like a lot of things about this set, but I love the little jars and I love the colander. But so I wanted to play with these jars, so that's what I'm going to be using today. And then these are what the stamps look like. Our stamps are red rubber mounted on a nice cushy foam. They are all indexed. They stamp beautifully. So anyway, that's what the stamps look like. And when there's little pieces like is in this set, they leave the whole outside piece so you can fit all your pieces back in, and you know if you're missing something when there's those little tiny stamps in there. So that's kind of helpful. And then you can buy it in a bundle or you can buy it separately, but it does come with dies. The dies don't cut out the little tiny things, but it cuts out the jars and the colander and the bushel basket, and it cuts out the Season All Things with Love stamp. And what is this one? Oh, that one cuts out the bushel and a peck. So using those, and then also in the border details die, I'm using this fun like eyelet trim here. And our Journey Color Burst pencils. I'm only using one color in that, but I am using them. This is how they come in this tin, and there's 2 layers of pencils. And then the pattern paper I'm using also comes out of the mini catalog, and it is the Sunday Adventure prints. And you get all these fabulous prints in there. And I'm using the red and white polka dot. I'm using a variety of our inks, which our inks are blends of dye and pigment ink. And I am using Sparkle Silk. Okay, so let's get started. I have cut out a, made my base card out of the color Pool Play cardstock. And then I've just used a scrap piece of that red and white polka dot. I'm going to kind of create like a tablecloth effect on this card, and that's, I went ahead and cut out that border trim, and so I'm going to be using that. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of do the background stuff on this first. We have the little round sponges in our catalog, and I always cut mine into quarters just because. And so I'm going to go around and distress. I know it's probably not going to show up great that I'm doing that, but maybe it will. I'm just going to use the same color, Pool Play, to go around the edges. art inks are really great for blending because of them being that combination of pigment and dye ink. It also makes the color permanent and it dries fast, not like when you're just using regular straight pigment ink. Okay, so I wanted to put just a little bit of extra color up here, kind of for some texture. Okay, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on our sparkle silk. I'm gonna kind of just matte off a little area right there because that's where I'm going to put the greeting, and I don't want to stamp it over sparkle silk, but I kind of wanted to have a little bit of the sparkle silk by it. Love this stuff. It's so pretty. Okay. Not sure if the sparkle is showing up, but it's very sparkly. All right, we're going to set that aside and let it dry. So here's the piece I cut out of that patterned paper and the border. And I'm going to use our Journey Craft glue. I absolutely love this glue. It dries fast, but it gives you a little bit of time to position things and get them where you want them. It has an awesome fine tip at this end. And then if you want a broader use, it does have a wide tip down there at the bottom. I usually store mine upright like this so that it's always down. I don't use the broad tip too much, but I love the fine tip. So I keep it standing up so that the glue is typically ready to go. And what I have found, because I want to glue this on here, and that's such a skinny little area to do it, but if you just barely squeeze the glue and just kind of bounce it along, you can see that you can get a really, really fine line of that glue right on that skinny little border. Love this glue. And my border piece is longer than that polka dot piece, but I still want the glue to go all the way down to the end because I'm not sure how much I want to cut off. And I want to make sure that it sticks, that we don't have it popping up on the edge of the card. So I'm going to do that at both ends a little bit, and then I'm going to also run it right along this other area. Okay. Okay, there we go. Kind of want to make sure it looks fairly even there so it doesn't get on the card crooked. And then I will just snip off this extra. is going to be great. But before I put it on there, I'm going to take some hazelnut blend, because I'm going to have those jars sitting on there like it's a tablecloth. I'm going to just darken up the top a little bit, you know, so it just gives the appearance that that tablecloth is going off the other edge over there. And then I want to, I'm going to use my small blending tool, and I'm going to put some shadowing where the jars are going to go here, because they can't just be floating there. They need to be, you know what I mean? They need to be anchored on the table. Got that one spot a little bit dark, but that's okay because the jar will cover it up. But I just want it to look a little bit shadowed where the jars are going to be sitting. That's probably good enough. Oh, I think I'll go ahead and get that attached. And I do have our FSJ adhesive, but like I've said before, I'm an ATG girl, so I love that eyelet trim. That is so cute. And it's sticking over just a touch, so I'm going to just trim that off. Not very much, just a tad. Okay, so there is our wall and our table. So I'm just going to set that aside. And I have a scrap piece of whipped cream cardstock, and I'm going to get out the jars. And I'm using Riverstone. And I'm going to stamp the jars with Riverstone, and then I'm going to cut them out real quick with the dies on my Amaze machine. If you haven't checked out the retirement sale of all the products that's retiring, getting ready for our new catalog, you should do that, because there are like over 500 things retiring. The Amaze machine is one of those things. I believe all the retirement stuff is 30% off, so it's a fabulous deal. And the stuff is going really quick, so if you see it and you want it, you better get it, because otherwise it will be gone, gone, gone. And you can find everything, if you're on my stamping page watching this, there's a Shop Now button up at the top. That will take you right to my site. Otherwise, it's www.funstampersjourney.com/JannaStamps, and Janna has 2 N's in it. Okay. So there's the jars. Oops, I want 2 big jars. I need to stamp another one. Glad I realized that now and not later. There we go. Okay, now I have all the jars. You guys got anything fun planned for this weekend? We have a Loyalty Days, which I think is actually a national holiday. I was reading something about that earlier today, that back in the day President Roosevelt made it a national holiday. I don't think it's listed on the calendar, but anyway, our little town here celebrates Loyalty Days, and we have a big parade that usually lasts about 2 hours. And it's just fun, and there's a carnival in town, which we won't go to, but because our children are grown up, and I suppose if the grandkids that live here go, their parents will take them. Okay, I'm going to put pickles in one of the jars, so I'm using green olive to do that. Oh, first of all, I'm going to mask, because I don't want to stamp outside of the jar edges. So I'm just using Post-it note. Anyway, so there's just some fun activities, and the parade's fun, and my husband Ken has not been able to go to the parade very often because it always seems to fall on his Saturday to work. But he has tomorrow off, so we are gonna go. Looking forward to it. And our granddaughter Kylie will be marching in the parade with the high school band, so that will be fun. And then so you just put the pickles in. I just turn it all different which ways, and because that's kind of how pickles are in the jar, right? They're all different which ways. Okay, I'm retired now, but at the place I worked, there was always the big pickle debate of whether you were a sweet pickle person or a dill pickle person. Well, I like both, but one of the guys there, Joe, he was like way anti sweet pickle, okay? He did not want anything to do with any sweet pickles. So we'd always get him going just because it was fun, you know, teasing about the sweet pickles, because I got to have some sweet pickle in my tuna fish. And some people think that's so gross, but that's how I grew up. We put sweet pickles in our tuna fish. Okay, so there's the pickles. Then I am going to bring in sweet pear and my little blending tool again and put the pickle juice in. Let's see if we have a jar of pickles. Looks like we need just a little bit of color right there and right there. I think otherwise we might be good. Okay, 1 jar of pickles done. And I'm just going to snip that off so I don't accidentally hit it with some other color of ink. Now the little jar, we'll do the same thing with. And this jar is going to have cute little mushrooms. Have any of you ever canned pickles or anything like that? The only thing I ever did was my sister and I one year decided to make this jam that you make using Jell-O. So we put up all these jars of jam with Jello. We followed the directions. We sealed with the paraffin, the wax, and they got moldy. That didn't work. Yeah, they got moldy. Ew. So that was about the only thing. But my mom used to can cherries. We had a cherry tree. So I am using the hazelnut blend, but I'm not going to use it full strength because I don't think mushrooms are typically that dark. There we go. That looks more like a mushroom color to me. And again, I'm just going to put them in there any old which way. So yeah, Mom canned cherries. One year they didn't get the cherry tree sprayed, and guess what? The cherries were wormy. She still wanted to can the cherries. My cousin happened to be there, and so her and I got stuck pitting all those cherries because they had worms. Gross. But when we pitted them, that also got rid of any worm that might have been inside. So, needless to say, our fingers were so stained. But the canned cherries were always good. Okay, so 1 jar of mushrooms done. And this jar is going to be peaches. Let's see, I guess I better... I think what I'm going to do... Do I have any sticky on that one? Guess I don't. Going to do that. Is this one sticky? Yep. There. Okay, for peaches, I'm using pineapple smoothie to stamp them. And because this is not a solid stamp, that's where the coloring's going to come in. I'm going to come back in and use my Color Burst pencils to just put a little color on these peaches, because peaches are not white. Actually, I think there is a white peach. I'm not positive, but it seems like there is a white peach, but I've never had one, so I don't know if they're actually white. Okay. I am using number 15. Just going to come in and make peaches. Dinner tonight at our house is going to be bacon and tomato sandwiches. We leave off the L. We leave off the lettuce. And it's turkey bacon. And I think I want to try doing it in the oven, because I need to cook the whole package up and just save the leftovers, because I kind of waited too longer than I should have to cook this bacon up, so I really need to get it cooked. And I thought, well, I'll just cook the whole package up, and it would probably be faster to do it in the oven, which I know you can do with real bacon, but I never have. So I don't know why you couldn't do the same thing with turkey bacon. So I'm going to have to Google it, I guess, and see what temperature you cook it on and about how long you leave it in there. I'm thinking probably like 350 and just watch it. I don't know. Okay, there's some peaches, but we need to put some juice on them. So I'm going to again use pineapple smoothie and my blending tool to just put a little bit of juice in there. I think that's probably good. Let's see. Yep, looks like a jar of peaches. Okay, next we are going to cut those out. So I'm just going to, I've got some of this removable, it's Post-it note removable tape. And even though we've got the best magnets on the market in our thing, I still don't want it to jump around, and after I went through all the trouble to get that colored, I wouldn't be too happy if it cut it off center or whatever. Better safe than sorry. Okay, there is one jar of peaches. Too cute. And let's do the pickles. Yay, a jar of pickles. And now the mushrooms. I'm going to be very careful when I'm done with this video not to lose it like I did last week. That was such a bummer. I know exactly what I did wrong. I was trying to save it to my phone and post it on my page at the same time, and apparently you can't do two things at once like that, so it just went bye-bye. Okay, cute little jar of mushrooms. Alright, let's bring it all back over here. And I'm going to use the Season All Things with Love, and I'm going to use that cute little heart. Oops, yeah, that's where I want it. It's best to not mount your stamps on the side with the grid, so that when you clean them, if you use something that it doesn't agree with, you don't want to take those grid marks off your blocks. So it's best to just do it on the plain side. So I'm going to use black licorice ink for the greeting. And sorry if you can't see it, I just want to make sure I get it. I'm going to stamp it up and then I'll pull it back up. Hoping I get it semi-straight here. I think I did. I'm just going to wipe that off my stamp real quick. Okay, and then I'm using candy apple, and I'm going to put a few little hearts around that. There we go. And now we'll put the jars on there. And again, I'm going to use the craft glue. And the little jar of mushrooms I'm going to kind of put in the front, so I'm going to run some glue down at the bottom to anchor it to that tablecloth, but I'm going to pop it up with one of our Journey foam squares at the top just for some dimension. Just like that. And just like that. So I'm just going to hold that there for a second. And there's the card. So inside then you could put the I love you, or you can just put like a thinking of you, or you could put thank you. So you could turn this card really into whatever kind of card you want it to be just by changing your greeting inside. I hope you can see the sparkle on that. It's sparkly. I just love those little jars. You can put anything in them. You could put hearts in them. You know, you could have a jar coming from the top of the card spilling, you know, put those little hearts in all different colors, have the little hearts spilling out. There's a tiny little strawberry on there that is so cute. You could do that with. the little tag. You could have a tag coming off the jar and, you know, put some little fake writing on it, or write it if you can write super tiny, and write what's in the jar. There's lots of fun things in this set, and I love the little salt and pepper too. That's so cute. Okay, so that is my card using the bushel and a peck stamp set, and that is currently available in our little mini catalog. Check it out on my site, and while you're there, look at all the things that are on sale, and what a great deal. Like I said, there's over 500 things on sale right now, so you can find some really great deals. Have a great weekend, you guys. Thanks for joining me. See you next Friday for another Friday Fun Day. Bye-bye.